go to Argentina. Argentina. I'd like to be like Biden. I'd like to go to the beach. My legs are not quite as thin as his. My legs are slightly heavier. My arms are slightly larger. My body is a little bit larger than his. I'm not sure it would be appreciated on the beach, but I'm not going to take a chance. You won't see me in a bathing suit. You won't see in a bathing suit sitting on a beach in Argentina, falling down, and not being able to lift a 3-ounce chair, meant for old people to lift, and he couldn't lift it, so we had a problem. He spent too much time on a beach. Somebody told him that he looked good in a bathing suit. And you'd see this guy on the beach all the time. I never quite understood.
Don't I always start your day great? Good morning. Rise in freedom. I'm Austin Petersen. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show, and this is on the For Liberty Network, baby. Yeah, it's a whole team over here. Not some weird, creepy guy in a shoe closet. Well, that's that too. Saint Selma's here with me, though. My smoking hot wife. She just, if you look at her, you'd be like, oh my God. How's that guy who streams live 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time, in his shoe closet? How did he get such a beautiful... And she's a libertarian. Oh, I got to get me one of those. Drew Van Runkle's hanging out with us today. Hope he's not microdosing. It's a little early for that. Relaxing McGroin, Thormock. We're all feeling very relaxed. How's everybody doing today? It's Wednesday. Thank God. We did it. We're halfway there. Reasons to live. It's just around the corner. Just around the river bend. This weekend? No. Good morning, Patriots. This is Wake Up America, and by the end of today, you are going to be confused, annoyed, maybe a little horny. Just kidding. Or am I? Well, let's just say I'm not quite beach body ready yet, but I'm working on it. Tonight's fight night, karate night in Jefferson City. Join me at the Jefferson City Parks and Rec adult class at 6:30. You want to spar with me? Step out into the mat tonight. Kids classes at 5:30. Nice little free plug for the Parks and Rec. We got a great show for you today. I can't wait to share with you all the exciting stuff happening today. Amazing guests. It came together. Today's show just came together because unfortunately the judge is out. But there's a humongous news story today, and I got some people who understand what's happening in the heart of this conflict. I got two fantastic guests, one coming up at 7:30, one coming up at 8:30. So there's a little hole in our, there's a judge-shaped hole in our heart at 8 a.m. Central this morning, but you get me. And you got lots of new stuff added to the Wake Up America show today. We're just making this show better all the time, baby. God bless America. We're talking about a lot of things. We're talking about a controversy that is tearing Republicans, especially young Republicans, apart at the national level, happening here in Missouri, happening in Texas, group chats that were leaked. That's it, boys. We're all going to hell for saying a Hitler joke, and we'll never be able to work again because the left can shoot us in the throats. We could be murdered in front of our families, in front of millions of people. And then our deaths celebrated, encouraged, and humiliation rituals abound. The left can say whatever they want, do whatever they want. But when Republicans college kids make a Hitler joke, well, I'm sorry, but that's just can't be tolerated. Or can it? I'm going to try and give you the facts of what's happening with this Republican text scandal leak. I'm getting messages from everybody in the Missouri state political scene for the most part on this. Anybody who's interested in what happens in the day-to-day of their Missouri Republican parties, our Missouri Republican Party put out a statement, and it was from Peter Kinder, the head of the Missouri Republican Party, man who I know well, is a good man. and denounced what was in the text messages. And the groypers online were, the no enemies to the right are, People have very strong opinions about this. And if you're watching some news channel today, if you're watching let me just tell you, if you turn on any other show today and they don't at least mention this story to you, you need to find better news sources. You need to probably just make the Wake Up America show and our satellite of content your destination viewing, to be quite honest, because if they're not talking about this, they're not telling you they're not telling you what's really going on in this. And there's a lot of breaking news surrounding this story. There's a lot of things that are coming out right now. There's a lot of allegations leveled at people who I frankly despise. So I want to believe the allegations. But I want to try and be as fair as possible. Get the facts straight, and then we can distort them as we please. That's the rule over here on the Wake Up America show. We get the facts straight first, and then we lie and bullshit and use statistics that back our support. We confirm our biases, really, right? Isn't that what it's all about anymore? We're all just confirming our biases. I've got Alex Sears joining us at 7:30 because he's got to take his kid afterward, but I had to squeeze him in here to talk about this one. He's going to talk about this story. I've got the breakdown of it. But before we go, I mean, these are jokes like, rape is epic. I love Hitler. Gas chambers don't fit the aesthetic. Watermelon people. Let's make him unalive himself on the convention floor. Okay, things that when I ran for president in 2016, I mean, at the time, it wasn't the Hitler-loving libertarians that were there. At the time, it was the anti-Hitler-loving. They were like the Antifa types. Gary Johnson, left libertarian types. It was just painful. Woke left and woke right. Woke left is in charge of the libertarians. Woke right as well. Woke left Republicans. Woke white. It's all woke. Everything's woke. You're all a bunch of socialists. That's how I feel about it. How's that? Let's just start quickly. You're all a bunch of commies. How's that? So we're going to talk about that today. We've got an interview. I'll replay. At 8 o'clock, I'll replay my interview with Kira Davis yesterday. She was fantastic to talk about fatigue. We're all feeling fatigued these days. Don't wonder why people might not be too upset about what some of these young people are saying. When there is a fatigue in general going on. The masks might be off and the group chats might be revealed. And yes, we are still all going to jail for saying, I love Hitler as a Republican in 2025. Your career might be over, kid. But Kira Davis says that the general sense of fatigue that people are feeling and many groups might be feeding into the apathy that a lot of people are feeling towards stories like this. I don't know. I bring people on who may or may not agree with me. 7:30, 8:30, Patrick Casey at 8:30. He's going to talk to me about how the anti-Israel right may have gone too far. Do you think? I love Hitler, gas chambers. Is this who we really want to have in leadership positions? I don't think so. It doesn't sound like a good idea to take the Hitlerites and put them in charge. Every good Nazi in the country is in jail where they belong. It's just the problem is that the commies, they all run the institutions. The commies and the Nazis, all of them, send them all to maximum security prison. America doesn't need them. Deport, denaturalize and deport. As my friend Will Chamberlain likes to say, you send all the Nazis to Germany where they hate, where everything's woke and they have to suffer, and you send all the commies to North Korea. What do you say? Let's send all communists to North Korea. I guess we'll take it easy on the Hitlerites. They'll be able to eat Wiener Schnitzel and still be able to Stippe Brunhilde in Germany, but they're gonna have to pretend to like climate change. So I condemn you both to hell. Condemn you all to hell. All Nazis, all commies can go to hell. I hope it's clear enough where I stand on these things. If I make a Heil Hitler joke, you guys ever see a Democrat put a picture of me doing this is the Elon Musk. My heart goes out to you. You know what I'm saying? We make these jokes. I want to give credit where it's due. And now, guys, a big announcement. It's the great grift off. The Liberty Loot Live Phase 2 bonus content is here today. And please, whatever you do, please be understanding. But today is a brand new day in Wake Up America show history. We have revamped, we have retooled, we have tested, and we think we have a system ready for you to play with us today and win real prizes at the end of the Wake Up America show today. It's very exciting. It's a game show mode. And so if we hit phase 2 of the bonus content, which the bar has been raised, but if we hit phase 2 of the bonus content, and we've done it before, and we raise $200 by the end of the show, phase 2 of the bonus content today is going to be a game show where someone today is going to walk away with a nice prize from the For Liberty shop. Here's how the game works. If you make a Rumble Rant donation of any amount during the live stream and you want to play at the end of the show, you must be present to win because you have to play. You'll play on your own mobile device. We'll send you a website and a code number for you to log in, and you will be able to play on your phone. Are you smarter than a 5th grader is today's game. Any Rumble Rant amount, not only does it go that you donate, not only does it go to help unlock the bonus content so the game can be played, but of course, phase 1 at $100 unlocks our 5-minute mini documentary that we have produced for you today, and it's a good one. So here's what it is. The Great Grift Off, Liberty Loot Live, that mode, I don't expect it to unlock every day, but if we do hit $200 raised on the Wake Up America show in either Rumble Rant donations, and every donation gets you an entry to win, or excuse me, if you enter to win, if you make a Rumble Rant donation today, I'll try and keep it simple. If you make any donation today to the show, or you purchase from the shop to help unlock the bonus content, you get a prize entry to win, to play the game today. So you actually get to play the game on the game show, and you have a chance to win real prizes, but everybody who plays is also a winner. So if you make a Rumble Rant today, congratulations, you could play. And you can win, and you will win some real prizes. So we're giving back to you guys for all the wonderful things you've done for us in a way that we think makes sense for us to grow the show and have a lot of fun. So at the end of the show today, if we raise $200 in bonus content money, everybody who donates is eligible. You are entered to win. If you don't make a Rumble Rant donation, you don't purchase, you won't be able to play. But if you make a purchase in the shop this morning to help unlock the bonus content, if you donate $1, then you are entered to win. So it looks like Dad Bod's in. Austin, did you ever work at a carnival? No, but I will say that I have mastered the fine art of marketing. So maybe not mastered, but I'm a journeyman. So why don't you guys make a Rumble Rant donation, or what you can do is make a purchase at the Grift Shop itself. But we're going to give a real nice prize away to somebody today. And you may say, Austin, how do I get the secret code? Well, you just send a text and say, let's play, or I'm in the game. And everybody who makes a donation can play the game. Have to be present to win, but 573-319-1586 is the text line. 573-319-1586. So Dad Bod Baboon, he just gave a Rumble Rant donation. Just send a text to that line, Dad Bod, say, I'm in, let's game, and you will get a code to play at the end of the show, and you will get a chance to win. Everybody who plays is a winner. Everybody's going to get something. And you can get in with a price of $1. So if you donate a Rumble Rant today of $1, then you'll get a notification to win. But here's the trick. The caveat is that in order for this to happen, we have to raise $200 to unlock phase 2. So it sounds complicated. It was to build it. We're trying to make it as simple for you as possible, but just think of it as like us playing games together at the end of the show, and you guys will win prizes. So if you donate, you'll get a code, but you have to send us a text to get the code. There you go. Drew Van Ronkel, he wants in. He's playing Are You Smarter Than a 5th Grader? He's seen us testing this out, so he knows it's going to be good. We're going to have a great show today. We've got a lot of content. We've got a lot of guests. We've got a lot to get through, so I want to make sure that we get the facts straight. This is a leak. Politico obtained approximately 2,900 pages of Telegram messages collected over about 7 months among young Republican leaders in states like New York, Kansas, Arizona, Vermont. And the text contained things like praise of Hitler rhetoric, Nazi rhetoric, references to gas chambers, a lot of racist and anti-Semitic slurs, more common lately. demeaning language towards black people, Jews, immigrants, the normal stuff that on Tuesday at a Republican hangout. Jokes referencing rape, sexual violence, slavery, and calls for violence. Peter Junta has lost his job as chief of staff for a New York Assembly member. According to Politico, Joseph Maligno is no longer employed at the New York State Unified Court System. Name like Maligno. Vermont State Senator Samuel Douglas is under pressure to resign with calls from his own party, including Governor Phil Scott. The Kansas Young Republicans have been deactivated by the Kansas GOP after revelations that the state chair and vice chair participated in the chat. The Young Republican National Federation has demanded that all implicated resign. Bipartisan condemnation has come in. Of course, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer described the chats as revolting, but the Vice President of the United States leavened this response with not a full condemnation. He compared the chats to violent texts from a Democratic politician, Jay Jones, and called the outrage over this pearl clutching. They're not fringe claims. Everything you've just heard, these are now national headlines, and it's a political crisis. It's not just something to be dismissed or a hand waved away. People are not going to ignore this kind of thing. This is the reason why donors, the text leaks of Candace Owens about Charlie Kirk in Israel. That's why these things are all starting to come out. So for anyone who tries to say that, for anyone who's not talking about this today, they're probably involved somehow in some way or protecting someone or themselves. So this story, you shall know them by their fruits. Who's telling you the truth? Who's lying to you? And who's just trying to, get their own gain as nakedly as possible. And there are crucial parts of this story that we do not know. Perhaps my guest today might even have some more insight than I have on this issue. I did pull this research this morning. There is no verified proof that Gavin Wax leaked the chats. Damn it. Fuck. I hate that guy. But I have to be honest. Any suggestion that Gavin Wax is the one who did that are allegations. And it's important to get the facts straight first. Some of the implicated individuals in this, like Junta and Walker, they assert that portions of the chat were manipulated, taken out of context, or altered. Totally believe it. We're talking about 2,900 pages here. So we don't know the full chain of custody, who accessed what, who edited what, or who released the logs. We don't know when exactly each message was sent relative to current events or how much of it was off the cuff versus premeditated. Hey, I love Hitler. Would you like to talk? Can I talk to you about our Lord and Savior Hitler today? Jesus was a Jew, so we don't like him anymore. It's Hitler now. Unironically. One would presume. So when you hear rumors that Gavin Wax, as much as I despise this guy, I cannot stand him. And believe me, nothing would make me happier than to find out that this was true and to watch him get roasted right out of politics. But I think the guy is a human being, and before he is canceled for something that if he didn't do it, then I'm the idiot for calling him and saying that he did. Gavin, I'd like to prove today that I am the better man. So grant the devil the benefit of the law. I would cut down every law in this country if it were the devil himself. And then what happens when the devil turns around, all laws being flat? Oh, yes, I'd give the devil the benefit of the law for my own safety, for my own sake. Thomas More, I don't think he had an Irish accent. Sorry. Judge would be mad. Click the like button if you haven't already. We'd love to have you be a regular guest. If you click the follow button, we'd love to have you be a regular guest by getting a notification on your phone. Thank you guys so much for all your generosity. I can't wait to play the game at the end of the show today. Liberty Loot Live. It's going to be a lot of fun. So let's talk about the context, because the context of this all matters. The culture of this all matters. This isn't happening in a bubble, right? This is how young men talk in private. They push boundaries. We flirt with taboo. I know women don't like it, and that there's a lot of henpecking that goes on in American society. But we have, when men aren't constantly being monitored by our females, our handlers, we trade edgy jokes. We say stuff that makes you have like emotional reactions of like, ladies, sit down and shut up for a minute, all right? It's raw. It is infantile. Yes, it's Joe, for the love of God. You know, our lives are drudgery. We sweat, we toil. At the end of the day, the salt mounds building up on our cheeks, and we can't sit down, play a little Battlefield 6, and say the N-word. What? We can't. We can't. You can't even get on Call of Duty and say the N-word anymore. As a joke. Seeping into every part of our lives, this political correctness. The metaphor is this. You show me someone who never says anything dark in private. I'm going to show you someone trying too hard to be too perfect. Humor, even bad humor, is a pressure valve for the human psychology. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills and I live in a world of people who can't take a joke. L Dubs gets me. He says, I'm glad Austin is saying that. It's, 99% of the time, it's not serious at all. We're not actually sitting down and deconstructing how we're going to send people off to Auschwitz here. But context does matter. Context does matter, right? Because the context doesn't absolve the content. You know, when we're talking about things like, genocide, rape, anti-Semitism, and it becomes public, we have to respond to that and talk about it and talk about what it means. Why are these people saying like this? Because with the Gaza war, the Israel conflict, and accusations of anti-Semitism swirling, any claim of Nazis in the right, of course, is going to get amplified. So the leak is going to be used as a weapon, I guarantee it. And just yesterday, Gavin Newsom released his Fight Anti-Semitism campaign. And I'm just saying to myself, oh God, here it comes. Because you know that he's counter-signaling the leftists, the Democrats. Gavin Newsom knows that the base of the Democratic Party are anti-Semites, right? So like the woke left is loving this right now because they're saying to themselves, oh, wow, look at all these right-wingers. We agree with them. It's Cenk Uygur, going, wow, Tucker Carlson and Anna Kasparian with the Jew hands, they're making a lot of sense, right? So they're loving that. But then Gavin Newsom actually wants to become president of the United States. So he's actually trying to win something instead of being an idiot. He's actually being smart about his tactics, and he's doing these Stop Anti-Semitism campaigns, which he knows that his Democrat base, he could probably win the nomination without the Antifa of the left. They may not need, he may have to have Alexander Ocasio-Cortez on the ticket as well in order for him to win the primary, that there's some chance for a woman of color to be president of the United States, because that's all the left cares about anymore. But if Gavin Newsom is the head of the ticket and he's not an anti-Semite, he'll become president of the United States. It won't be J.D. Vance. You don't understand women. If you don't understand women, you don't understand how the country is moving in a certain direction. Help to unlock that bonus content, guys. Keep it up. Everybody who donates or makes a purchase from the Grift Shop this morning gets an entry to win real prizes. At the end of the show, we're going to play Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? But you have to hit the bonus content unlock. Phase 2 is $200. So if we hit it, we hit it. If great. If not, it goes away. We'll be right back. It's the Wake Up America show. You're watching the For Liberty Network.
Are you tired of the strange radioactive effects of leftist culture? Do you ever wonder what happened to good old-fashioned American values? Well, fear no more, because there's a new force fighting back against the cultural rot of today. Introducing Culturama, a right-of-center talk show that's taking back the future today. Hosted by none other than blonde bombshell herself, Daniela Pensack. She's not just talking, she's taking culture back. With sharp takes, brilliant guests, and a few surprises along the way. Tune in to the live video podcast twice a week, because the future doesn't have to be weird. It can be Culturama.
If there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive, and if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun.
I think that at the heart of my philosophy is much more libertarianism than
well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian.
It always has been.
Yet any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goals. They say we're always against things, we're never for anything.
What is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
The conservative, so-called, is the one that says less government, get off my back, get out of my pocket, and let me have more control of my own destiny.
Do you hate the deep state? Do you reject the Antichrist?
And because they said they were going to disarm. And if they don't disarm, we will disarm them.
How will you do that?
I don't have to explain that to you. But if they don't disarm, we will disarm them. They know I'm not playing games. Okay? Now, we did something monumental. We got the hostages back. That was the first thing we had to do, above all else.
They know I'm not playing games. Well, after watching President just totally destroy, what is this, the third ship of drugs coming into the country, allegedly drugs coming into the country, that Trump has just blasted into smithereens. If I were Hamas right now, I would listen to President Trump. Do what he says. He's crazy. He's going to kill us all. There's just too much news. Charlie Kirk posthumously awarded a Medal of Freedom. Groyper Wars. Local Republican parties here in Missouri and in Texas blowing up with finger pointing. Adolf Hitler is somehow involved. I don't know. It's a mess. What are we doing? What is going on? And of course, in the background of all of this, Gavin Newsom launches his Stop Antisemitism campaign as a Democrat. Oh God, I swear to God, if I have to put up with Gavin Newsom and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for 8 years, I'm gonna kick Nick Fuentes' ass myself. There you go. So, but contingent on those things. So hopefully it never happens. Let's talk to somebody else who knows Texas. His name's Alex Sears. He's a writer. He's a strategist. He's one of the few guys who isn't afraid to tell the hard truths, even when our own side may be going too far on a few things. Maybe Heil Hitler is maybe not the winning message. We'll see. Alex Sears, welcome to the Wake Up America show. It's great to see you, man.
Hey, good to see you. Thanks for having me this morning.
Yeah, like I said, the news couldn't be bigger, Alec, but I think the drama of these young Republican chats blowing up, especially because it involves somebody in the State Department, Gavin Wax, who personally I detest, but I don't see any evidence that he did it, just a lot of finger pointing now. What do we know to be true, and what do you think is really important about this story that our audience needs to know?
We know that there was a group chat full of folks roughly around the Young Republican Committee and movement. I'm not very plugged into the Young Republicans. That's just not something that I've spent a lot of time doing, just because didn't seem like it was really worth the time. A lot of the chapters aren't really up to much these days, as we can see. They're more focused on some of the members are more focused on some pretty wild group chats, and this Politico story is really just shocking and surprising. Is it, an attempted distraction from the J. Jones text messages in Virginia? Probably.
Now, what is that? Because some people don't know the J. Jones text scandal right now happening with the Democrats.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of the whole ballgame. Like this, the J. Jones text messages that came out a few weeks ago, saying how if he had to choose to shoot, between three people, where it was like, Hitler and his political opponent, and then like another third person, he would shoot his political opponent, who's his fellow, state legislator, twice if he had two bullets, and he was in the room with two of history's worst people, which is just
wait a
insane.
Minute. Hold on, isn't that a joke too? Because I'm pretty sure I've heard that Hitler joke myself. If that you hated somebody, but I mean, I guess it is a Democrat.
Yeah, it's kind of an old joke, but at the same time, like the recent upswing in violence from the left is shocking, and apparently it wasn't the first time he said that. He's in the conversation of texts that he had that were leaked. He's like, this isn't the first time we've had this conversation. So apparently he was doubling down.
I get it. And listen, I don't want to give any Democrat the benefit of the doubt, but just for my own conscience sake, it is a joke from The Office. So, I mean, then now let's talk about the Republican side of this, because, these young Republican clubs are really, just mostly social clubs and stuff, because what are you doing as a Republican in your early 20s? I mean, come on, man, have a little fun. Join the Republican Party at 25 or up, right? But after 25 and up, when you're working as a Republican aide or a staffer or a legislator, or you're a state senator, you probably shouldn't be, I don't know, praising the greatest mass murderer in the 20th century. What do you think, Alex? Is that a big deal? Not a big deal in the context of the Israel-Gaza conversation that we're having right now? I mean, did Gavin Wax do the right thing by leaking these things? He's certainly being roasted as a traitor, even though there's no evidence that says that he did it right now. It's kind of a mess.
Yeah, it's an absolute mess. This is like classic, like college tier, just BS. I mean, genuinely, one of the people's names I recognize in these group chats. I don't know any of these people. I maybe have met some of them in passing, just from my time as a Republican operative. But I recognize one of the names, and it's kind of the people you'd expect, honestly. And it's not good. Like,
when you mean
you
it's
joke
not good.
around. Well, the content of the messages isn't great. Was the story blown out of proportion because all these people are like very like bottom tier, maybe mid tier level staffers, political operatives? They're not really doing a whole lot. They don't have very high level positions.
But I mean, still a fireable offense, just for the simple fact of like, have a little bit of operational security.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is amateur hour. Truly, this is amateur hour. The content of the messages, disgusting, vile. Are they joking around? Yes, no, maybe. Hard to truly understand the full context. Probably yes, joking. Did it cross the line? Probably, when you have, the Politico reporting 251 various slurs used over the course of the messages, constant, praises to Hitler.
Do you think that some of these guys are, do you think that some of these guys are actual like ideological Hitlerites?
I couldn't say. I genuinely couldn't say. I would hope not. I would genuinely hope not, just because I don't want those folks, around in the party.
Trump doesn't either.
Never who
he was. Right. That was the whole very fine people on both sides hoax. But he actually did call out the National Socialists and stuff. it's an odd time to be a Republican, just because we are having this discussion right now in the background of the Charlie Kirk news, which has become unfortunately, the whole Charlie Kirk story is intertwined with the Middle East story, because of course the Groypers, being a very noisy movement online, are explicitly anti-Semitic. And therefore, they see the person who leaked these group chats as sort of as like the ultimate traitor. We don't know that it's Gavin Wax. I do know many of these people. I do know many of them to be sleazeballs, and many of them probably are National Socialists. In which case, you know, they can go where the commies go and get the helicopter, as far as I'm concerned. But at the end of the day, this is a discussion that we're having right now. I mean, if the president of the United States has to watch his daughter being verbally assaulted by people who claim to be supporters of his because she's Jewish and she prayed against a wall, then there's probably we probably need to have a national discussion in this country. And it seems what's unfortunate is that it appears like Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, is catching on, and he's kind of counter signaling his own Democratic Party, because the Democrat, while we're sitting here wondering whether or not these Republicans are Hitlerites and debating the fact, I think it's pretty clear that the Democratic Party is damn near all Hitlerites, at least in behavior towards Jews, if not tenets, ideological proponents of the idea of the ethos of National Socialism here. We're talking about a party that is explicitly anti-Semitic, but Gavin Newsom is counter-signaling them right now. Do you think he sees like a tailwind to the White House? He's going to catch one?
Maybe it's possible. I mean, the rhetoric against Israel and the Jewish people on the left and segments of like you said, the Groypers, is reaching an all-time high. And it started getting really bad even before the October 7th massacres 2 years ago. And it is a little bit surprising to see Gavin Newsom roll this program out, but at the same time, I'm sure it's, like many Gavin Newsom programs, a lot of huff and puff and hot air, and not a lot of, actual action or anything.
Good point.
I don't see Gavin Newsom being the guy to really come out and be like, yeah, I'm fully 100% pro-Israel now. Like, he's going to quietly roll out a anti-Semitism campaign and it's going to go nowhere, but he's going to be able to say in, a year's time, oh, look at my anti-Semitism program that I had. Like, I'm
that's a great analysis.
I support Jews. I support Israel.
Yeah, he'll do exactly like he did with the guns, where it was like,
Sean Ryan gives him the gift of a pistol. He's like, oh, I support gun rights, except here's the long list of all the guns that I don't support.
New gun law in California too. So it's like, yeah. So you're right about that, Alec. But that's because you and I are paying attention. He's going to squeeze by. That's the thing, is I'm trying to say this guy's a snake. Yes. But he is a wily snake. He knows, because he knows people are going to watch that. People who are going to watch that show, we're so isolated in our own little ideological bubbles and our entertainment bubbles. It's not like we have like national entertainments or national shows or national conversations anymore. Everybody's in their own little bubble. He knows that if he goes on the podcast and he says what the people on the podcast believe, that they will like him, and then they were more likely to vote for him, because they're not going to go watch the podcast. He's going to go on the pro-gun podcast to be pro-gun. He's going to be in the anti-gun podcast to be anti-gun, which is really the mark of a true politician. He's doing exactly what he needs to win. But it seems like the right is kind of, I don't know. It doesn't feel like the right is sort of like owning its in power right now. Trump seems to be okay. But all of like the Trumpsters underneath, they really are, whether it's, Dan Bongino and the deputies, FBI stuff is going now. It's normal to have royal in an administration, but this is like, there's a toxic chemical soup. It seems like, I don't know how we ask people to take a drink of this kind of stuff if we don't have a conversation about the problems we have in the Republican Party. How do we sort of hold on to moral legitimacy to voters who might be swing voters? Because people who care about elections and have to win elections have to think about these things, not just be edgelords.
Well, I think two things. First, I think it's much better this time around. In the first Trump presidency, it was way worse than this. The infighting, the constant firings. You had people who were actively working against President Trump inside of his administration. His own chief of staff was like actively running interference. I think this time around they got it mostly figured out. There's always going to be a little bit of infighting. For whatever reason, the right seems to have a little bit more of a problem with this. And the second point is, we should call it out when it's our side and when it happens. And there's a lot of, very rabid people on the right on Twitter who, maybe don't have a ton of sway in the party, but they can have very loud voices on the internet, who are saying, oh, we shouldn't call this out because the Democrats will never call this out. We're not the Democrats. If you don't want, and if you want a party that doesn't call out their own side when they're doing heinous shit, then go join them. I don't care that a bunch of low tier staffers who were praising Hitler in a group chat got canned. It's not like they're running for office. It's not like they're, some major power holder. And even if they were, when someone who is in power says something, not great or absolutely counter to the platform or something that is not helpful at all. One example, Pam Bondi a few weeks ago said that hate speech is a crime and they were going to, look at ways to batten that down. The right flipped out because no, that's not true. And that's something we've been fighting against for 8+ years. Free speech is free speech. That doesn't mean it doesn't come with consequences. And Pam Bondi came out and apologized and rolled it back, and that's fine. We move on.
Yeah, I agree. This is great analysis, by the way, Alec. And thanks for getting up so early and joining us. There's so many different angles I could go on, paths I could go on in this one, but I guess I wonder where's your head at in terms of where the Republican Party is at right now. Like if it's J.D. Vance, say, is the next presidential candidate, and it's Gavin Newsom. Do you see the American people saying, "Oh yeah, we want the frat boy college, humor back, the remnants of the MAGA movement"? Because let's be honest, as much as you may like J.D. Vance, he's not Donald Trump. When Donald Trump is not on the ballot, the MAGA movement just becomes something else. And can we compete against I would say just the sly wiliness, the slick-oiled politician Gavin Newsom on a national level in national elections where women are the majority voters? What are they going to go for? I don't know that the women are going to be like, yeah, we want our 1980s Arnold Schwarzenegger frat boy, college boy talk back. I kind of feel like they want to read a novel and be romanced by Gavin Newsom these days. Are my instincts off here, or?
I think demographically, you're probably right, specifically with the female base. But I do think that JD has come a long way. And right now he's VP, and traditionally throughout modern history, the vice president has always been kind of the attack dog for the White House, for the party, and he's filling that role very well, I would say. He's constantly on the attack. He's pushing the needle forward, which is good. Does he have a little bit of growing up to do? I think he probably is there, and he's playing his role, and he's going to throughout the rest of the Trump presidency. We got 3 years left. He's going to continue to evolve into more of the dignified while still holding his edge type of politician, and carry that into a presidential campaign and hopefully the White House in 3 years.
That's a really good analysis, Alec. I just I don't know where else anybody would have been able to give me that point of view and have that kind of intimate knowledge like that, and to get it so early in the morning. I know you got to drop the kids off, and I certainly have got a lot more content I want to hit, Alec. But do you think that there's anything about this story? And I know there's a lot to talk about, but do you think there are any key facts, important points, maybe ways that you'd like to shape this? I'll give you the final word here, and of course, if you have anything that you'd like to plug, please do so.
Yeah. As you know, Austin, spent a lot of time on the college campus activism circuit, and it's kind of a brutal space, and either you grow out of it and kind of move on and grow in both your political philosophy and also your wisdom as it compounds to your job and activism within the Republican Party, or you don't. And this story out of Politico with the group texts, I'm seeing a bunch of people who think they're still in college and they're doing like the college infighting. They're doing the middle school like infighting. They're trying to batter down their political opponents inside of young Republicans to take power. And they're really just like they're doing the Antifa LARP, really. Like that's what it is. They think that they have like these incredible political skills where they're going to bully their political opponents into submission, and they just don't. And they overstepped. They pissed off too many people. Maybe Gavin Wax leaked their group chat. Who knows? Like you said, we don't have definitive proof of that. And they're gonna, reap the consequences of saying some very awful things. And I think it is,
it's not cancel culture, it's consequence culture.
Right. Well, it boils down to, do we have the moral authority and or obligation to condemn what they're saying?
Yeah, and I think we do.
I think
yes, I won't be bullied by a bunch of snot-nosed punks who think Hitler was cool. All right, Alec, what else? What do you got going on these days, Alec? Where can people follow you?
Yeah, well, I'm on X Twitter at Alec_Sears, and if anybody needs any digital political work, you can find my information on there.
Alec Sears with a C. Alec. Hey, Alec, you rock. We appreciate you, brother. Thanks so much for getting up early and being so generous with your time. Excellent analysis. We're very grateful for it.
Thanks for having me.
Yep.
Thanks
have a good one.
Take care.
You too. Bye.
God, when it was costly. But that's what we're called to do. Surprisingly enough, he did pray for his enemies, which is very hard, but he did. He did. He did.
I would trade every single groiper for one Charlie Kirk.
No one else, I saw him do it. No, he never did it in front of anyone else, but I can attest to that. But he also loved people when it was inconvenient. And he ran his race with endurance, and he kept the faith. And now he wears the crown of a righteous martyr. God.
Charlie Kirk, rest in peace. Just think about it. If you would be embarrassed to say it in front of Charlie Kirk, maybe you shouldn't say it. The edgelording thing does get old after a while. When you're a child, you play with toys. When you're an adult, you grow up and you put your toys down and you set on a path and you become a man and you act like a man and you have some honor. And in that way, you'll be given respect, not just your blatant power grabs. LW78's here, Rare Camellia, Steffi for Liberty. How we doing, guys? Did you guys know that we brought phase 2 of the bonus content back on the show? At $100, we unlock our mini documentary, but everybody who donates on the show today or makes a purchase at the shop, it gets an entry to win, to play the game at the end of the show. We've got a full-blown Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? It'll take 5 minutes to play at the end of the show, and if you donate, you're eligible to play. But phase 2 of the bonus content is $200. Now, why would you want to do something like that and just so you can play a game? Well, because you will win real prizes from the Grift Shop at thegriftshop.com. If you donate $1 now, you might get a $23 box of coffee delivered straight to your door by the end of the show. All it takes is one single Rumble rant. And everybody is a winner who plays. You will get something. So make a Rumble Rant contribution now, or head to the Grift Shop and grab that item that you've been wanting, because it helps to unlock the bonus content. Phase 1 of the bonus content at $100 unlocks the mini documentary. Phase 2 at $200 unlocks the game show mode that we have, Liberty Loot Live. It's the great Grift Off. We've got a whole game show mode set up for you, and you will be able to play with me online at home on your phone. You'll be able to go to the website. We'll give you a secret code. The secret code is how you will be able to log in on your phones to play the game at the end of the show. But game show mode only unlocks if we raise $200 on the Wake Up America show live this morning. So $200 is a big ask. It is. But also you can win real prizes. So let's see if we can do it. And I don't expect it to happen every day, but at least watch the great mini documentary that we have produced for you guys. So what do you guys think of this scandal? Big nothing burger. Do you think Gavin Wax leaked the text? Do you have any investment in this story at all? No? It involves people that I know and love and care about. So there you go. You've got my inside take on it. We're going to hear from a great man at 8:30 a.m. today. He is a self-described moderate paleo conservative. Patrick Casey is going to join us live at 8:30 a.m. Central Time. He's been defending Trump's handling of the Gaza conflict as measured, strategic, and America first, in contrast to what he calls hysterical black-pilled narratives circulating on the right. He rejects the claims that Trump is a neocon puppet. He pushes back on the idea that Trump is controlled by Netanyahu or the Israeli lobby. He calls those arguments delusional and misinformed, which I happen to agree with. Casey praises Trump's targeted foreign policy moves like strikes on Iranian proxies while emphasizing no new wars or U.S. ground invasions. He mocks the World War III takes. He's called out commentators like Dave Smith for predicting U.S. escalation, saying it misunderstands Trump's restraint and misleads the right. Absolutely. Didn't he call for Trump to be impeached? Dumb. Critiques pro-Palestine activism. So Casey points to hypocrisy and radicalism in the pro-Gaza movement, especially those celebrating the violence on October 7th, and strongly opposes any refugee resettlement from Gaza. He says that we should be refocused on America first priorities. Immigration, anti-white discrimination, and cultural restoration are his focus, not endless distractions in the Middle East. God bless this guy. I've been waiting for weeks. I've been trying to book this guy on the show for weeks. I'm excited for this talk. You got a great show coming up for you here today, and you still got more Kira Davis. Did you guys see her yesterday? Oh, no, you missed it? You missed out big time, man. She was funny. It was hilarious. She's a strong, patriotic, right-wing, conservative, black American woman, and she says, be racist. Just kidding. But if you are, don't do it in group chat texts. Keep those Rumble rants coming, guys. We want to see that first phase of the bonus content unlocked in. Oh, please, oh, please. If we raise $200 by the end of the show, game show mode unlocks. We will play Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader live on the show. You could play at home, too, on your own phone. We'll give you a secret code, but only if you drop Rumble Rants or visit the Grift Shop at thegriftshop.com. It's the Great Grift Off. I'm Austin Petersen. You're watching the Wake Up America show on the 4 Liberty Network.
When the Founding Fathers dreamed of liberty, they forgot one thing: coffee. Introducing Founding Flavors Coffee, the brew that built America, and the brew that's fueling a new revolution, one kitchen at a time. Small batch roasted, Patriot approved, and disappearing faster than a red coat at Yorktown. Don't get left behind, soldier. Real patriots are starting their mornings with Founding Flavors. And trust us, freedom tastes better with a fresh cup in your hand. Stop drinking those tyrant brews who take your money and don't support your values. Stocks are limited, demand is booming, and your morning deserves a taste of liberty. Order now at 4libertyshop.com before the next shipment gets signed, sealed, and sold out. Founding Flavors Coffee, the official brew of morning rebellions everywhere. Get yours at 4libertyshop.com. Look, not all t-shirts are created equal. Some just sit there. Others start conversations. The ones at 4libertyshop.com, they raise eyebrows, win arguments, and occasionally get you banned from PTA meetings. Whether you're repping freedom, mocking tyrants, or just making the left squirm, we've got the gear that says what you're thinking. Loud, proud, unapologetic. Grab yours today at 4libertyshop.com because your shirt should speak louder than your neighbor's bumper sticker. Legend has it, back in 1773, a band of angry, overtaxed patriots stormed a British ship, found the king's favorite
Austin
tea.
Petersen. They call me AP for Liberty Online. You can find me on any social network under that name, pretty much. Some people are like, Austin, where are you at on YouTube? Well, I'm not going to talk about YouTube on Rumble, but we don't have the AP for Liberty YouTube channel. It still exists. It's just they demonetized me because too spicy. You know, all the things that were making Camelia's cheeks blush. Now, listen, I haven't chased off my whole fan base yet with my opinions on the Israel, Gaza, conflict and supporting Donald Trump scared off a lot of other people as well. When you take a stand, they run away. They go to Bernie Sanders. They're like, oh, please, Bernie, save us. Tell me the comforting lies. If you like the painful truth, if you enjoy pain, if you're a masochist, welcome to the Wake Up America show. Click the like and follow. The pain has only just begun. How will my audience react? Will I be able to make money if I call out people on my side of the aisle? Who gives a shit?
Just a YouTuber.
Since we've seen each other, but she joins us live on the Wake Up America show. Good morning, Kira.
Morning, Austin, from still dark California. Good to see you.
Yeah, thanks so much for getting up early, Kira. It's an important conversation. Ben Shapiro, you know him for a long time. You kind of warned him about Candace Owens. What was that?
Well, when Candace Owens first hit the scene, I don't know if a lot of people remember, but she did kind of it seemed like she popped out of nowhere. It was all of a sudden. And really what happened was she had been doing a little bit of work on YouTube, and then Kanye West scooped her up. He replied to one comment, and then she blew up. And then she started getting work on this side. I have to admit, in the beginning, I did enjoy her when she was still just a YouTuber. She used to have her Red Black Pill or Black Pill Red or some kind of channel like that. She just used to do little piffy commentary, and I liked that. When Kanye blew her up, I started listening to her, and I thought, oh, there's something amiss here. I've been in business for a long time. You start to be able to discern who is sincere, who is authentic, and who is sort of grifting or just in it for the clickbait, or it's a form of fame chasing for some people. It may not be, Hollywood celebrity fame, but it's a form of it for some people. So I started noticing that stuff. And then when Shapiro hired her onto the Daily Wire, by that time I had already written an article about Candace called The Trouble with Candace. I wrote it for Red State, where I used to work. And I said, look, I don't think that this woman is on the up and up. And she, not only is she very disparaging towards Black people, her own community, in a way that isn't just, hey, we need to do better. We need better for our community. But I always felt that there was a viciousness to the way that she viewed Black people, as a Black woman myself. And so I said, I don't think that this woman is on the up and up. Also, she's an influencer, and influencing was pretty new at the time. And I thought that you shouldn't trust influencers with the conservative/Republican message. I'm a conservative and a Republican. You shouldn't trust an influencer with that message, because that's an ideological message. Influencers are good for spreading messages and getting clicks. And I can understand you want to have someone like that on your network and give her 5 minutes a day to get some clicks, but influencing is something different. And it's something different than activism. It's something different.
It's all merged though now into one kind of like,
you're right.
It's become a toxic chemical soup to some extent, right? And everybody is accusing everybody of being a grifter and being on the take or being bought and sold. I think some are being bought and sold though, Kira.
Yes, I do too.
I think that it's more than just malign domestic sources. I do believe that there are foreign sources that are spending money in the United States on influencers to try and get their message out in more than just hey, go to watch the NFL games, or, pimping for some product that, the Sham Wow or something it's
right.
I suspicion that that's going on with some of these people like Tucker or Candace, but I don't have any hard evidence other than what's pretty open about Tucker's association with some of the Qatari moneyed interests. Do you think that where there's smoke, there's fire in this? Or do you think that maybe they're just chasing the audience for the clicks and the attention? It's fame and money, and any kind of foreign influence is probably secondary to this. How do you feel about it?
No, it's an ecosystem, right? I think the foreign influence is very recent. I think that our foreign, I don't necessarily want to say enemies, but other foreign entities have understood that America can't be beat through military might, but you can beat us with our own personal greed, and you can beat us with our own personal desire to be liked. and and other entities have been very effective in using that. And so this is new. I do believe, I couldn't give you a receipt, but I absolutely do believe that there is foreign money. I know this as a podcaster, a writer, and an activist who's been in the conservative activism space for almost 20 years. So I can tell you what it looks like when someone's on the come up and when someone is earning their way, into an audience.
But here's the thing, though. I've been accused of that myself, Kira. I imagine you probably have as well. And some people would say that, oh, you're just jealous because she's got such a big audience. How would you react to that?
Yeah, well, I wrote my famous now, The Trouble with Candace article 5 years ago, 2019.
Oh.
In 2019. And I said, this woman is a problem. Conservatives need to keep an eye on her. We should not be embracing her. She speaks poorly about Black people. And not in the way of like, I want to improve, but like there's something wrong with her. And everybody said, oh, you sound jealous. You sound jealous, right. Kira. You sound like you would like a little bit of that attention or that money. And before people started saying that, I hadn't even thought about that. And then after people started saying that, and then I lost a lot of followers. I actually lost a lot of work on that. Can I just say this, Austin, while I'm here? When I was telling conservatives about Candace and that she was a problem, and I said, I'm getting a bad vibe off her because she speaks so poorly about Black people, and she's Black. I'm Black. I know how you talk about the Black community, even when you're fussing at them, right? Like my whole position is from, I want us to be better. I want us to do better. I think we can be better. That's all, every criticism I have is from that baseline. And hers was the opposite. And that's when everyone was telling me, you're jealous, or you are liberal. I got accused of being a liberal a lot. And I'm not. I'm definitely a right-wing nut job. You're a liberal, all of that stuff. And when people decided that Candace was not on the up and up, when Candace decided to start criticizing Israel and the Jews, which I am a defender of Israel.
Now you've gone too far. You can criticize the American Black, but you cannot. You can't do that and the Jews.
No, I say this as someone who is, definitely supportive of Israel, and I couldn't care less about all of that. I'm sorry, I don't want to cuss on your show. I couldn't care less about all that BS. But to be honest, it does bother me when people are like, oh, she's gone off the rails. She never should have met Kanye, or someone's influencing her. No, this is who she's always been. You just didn't care when she was talking bad about Black people. This is who she's always been.
Do you think Shapiro bears any responsibility for launching Candace?
100%. 100%. I actually tweeted at Ben yesterday because Ben finally has broken his silence on her. And I imagine there's some contract issues there as well. But broken his silence and said, look, I'm really disappointed, yada, yada. And I said, okay, great. That's great, Ben. But I was one of the voices warning you not to platform her in the way you were. Do you think that she always
hated him? Do you think that she just, or she just used him for fame and that it was all pretend? Or do you think that she always disliked Jews?
No. I don't think she cares one way or the other. I think she's just a 1,000% grifter. As a matter of fact, look at what she's doing with the Charlie Kirk stuff.
So there's no strongly held beliefs, you think?
No, none. I mean that.
Isn't that
There's
sad?
Nothing.
You know what? The only reason why people aren't going to accept that or believe you if they don't, Kira, is because they don't want to. Because you know why? Because the truth is usually way more boring than the dirty lies that she's being manipulated by Qatar or that. I think she
for sure is getting money from. I 1,000% believe that she's pulling money from other entities, probably Qatar, because Qatar, they have figured out this podcast game, right? I mean, kudos to them for doing it.
And they're spending money,
and it's working. I don't know how long it'll work for, but for now it's working. So don't get me wrong. She is absolutely getting money from other places. She'll say but you watch her message shift. each day it gets crazier and crazier. If you're wondering why all of a sudden she sounds crazy on this issue or that, it's because that she figured out there was clicks there. That's it. That's all it is.
I'm sort of a World War II nerd, so when I heard her sort of offering her views on Hitler and nationalism and how nationalism goes across borders versus nationalism in your nation state. And, you know, Hitler would have been fine if he had just stayed within his own borders. I thought to myself, here's a very uninformed person talking on a very, very big, important topic of which they have obviously very clearly little knowledge. So now when I hear some of those people talking about things like the firebombing of Dresden or the nuking of Hiroshima or Nagasaki, and I'm like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So I just kind of dismissed them summarily in pretty much every other one. But I dismissed her, you know, years ago for that reason, not because I thought she was necessarily a grifter. I just thought she wasn't that well informed. And I try and listen to well informed sources, which makes me an outlier, which makes me obnoxious, makes me a nerd. Kira, I have a question that's a little bit on a separate topic, but you kind of brought it up earlier about some like the grousing at black people. And I wonder how you feel about this new trend of people posting their fatigue with black people in the United States. How should I feel as a white person when my instinct tells me don't sit in front of that black man on the train, don't sit with your back to him, and it's my animal brain telling me to do it? Should I listen to my animal brain, or should I be anti-racist? What do I do?
Listen to your animal brain. I tell my daughter, I have a 18-year-old daughter, I have a 23-year-old son. We are a black family. We've all been black our whole lives. And I tell my daughter all the time, if you feel uncomfortable, you listen to your red flags. That's what I tell her. That God gives you those for a reason. That's your internal warning system. If you're walking down the street and there's a black man walking towards you, it's late at night and you feel nervous, cross the street. If he's not a problem and you run into him later, you can apologize to him later for your mistake. But absolutely, guess what? I have fatigue too. I think we're all fatigued, to be honest. My family and I talk about it. I actually was watching a video recently, a black fatigue video, and I was standing with my son, he's 23. And I was like, am I a racist now? And he was like, I think we're all racist, Mom. I think we all have fatigue. I would say,
clip that. Clip it.
I would say, I think we're all racist now. Yeah, I think we're all racist now.
I don't want to be racist. I don't want to be prejudiced or bigoted. I don't want to judge people. I want to judge people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin.
You have to profile people.
What?
You have to profile people. Listen, you're a man, so this might be a different calculation
Clip
for you.
that.
But to the women out there listening, you do this every day, ladies. Right? You do this every day, ladies. We have to profile every day. We have to decide, if I get in this elevator with these bigger men and I'm riding down 12 floors, should I step in this elevator and feel nervous, or should I just wait? Or you profile the server at the counter, or the guy who's going to change the oil in your car. Women do it all the time. We do it every day. So people make calculations and they make profile calculations. Do I, as a black woman, feel embarrassed and saddened by that? Yes. Do I feel judged by that sometimes unfairly? Absolutely. I want to tell every server I sit down with my family at a restaurant to, I want to tell them before we even start, you will get tipped. Please be kind to us. I want to say, because black people don't tip, for those who don't know. I want to say that every time.
Clip it.
You will get tipped. Please be nice. Please be nice.
Brad, I hope you're listening, bud. We need lots of clips from Kira Davis today. I need as many reels as I can.
You're gonna make me the
Kira,
next
make sure
Candace
that we're gonna tag you in all the posts. Make sure that you share them. Of course, everybody else who's watching right now, I think, we got a lot of big fans of Kira in the chat. Kira is right. Lots of congratulations. I never thought I'd have a podcast where a black woman would be telling me, be racist. I don't want to be racist. You're like, no, profile.
Don't be racist against me.
Profile.
Don't be racist
I won't,
against
Kira.
me.
We'll let you in when the inevitable race. I used to read the old Nazi blogs back in the 90s when they first appeared, and they were always talking about this book. It was the Turner Diaries. And it was this.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that?
I've heard of that. Yes.
Exactly. And there was like all these, it was this white supremacist fantasies about like eventually one day the blacks and whites are going to like have a shootout in the streets. I don't know if that's going to be the case. It's going to be with some white and black conservative Americans against some black and pink hard lefty Antifa tryhards, and someone wearing frog costumes
You know what? Let me say something about that. And this is actually a more serious point that you're making.
Let's hear it.
Is that traditionally the left wing in this country has divided us. Humans are tribal. I recognize this, and I think we should accept that. Our relations are going to be a lot easier if we understand that humans are naturally tribal, but the left has separated us per politics or per race, race and ethnicity for tribes. And lately it's been feeling a lot more like those old lines of division no longer apply. We're no longer willing to be lumped into those tribes together because we keep getting lumped with weirdos. We keep getting lumped with, like, I'm black and they keep lumping me with brown, right? So I never get to be just black. Now I'm black and brown. And that's a whole other thing. It has a whole other legacy. It has a whole other meaning. It has its own cadre of weirdos already there. Or you get lumped, if you're libertarian, you get lumped with the naked cyclists in Portland. You know, like they keep trying to make these our tribes. I think with the right, and I don't, but please, nobody be picturing Austin riding a bike naked right now. Don't do it. Wipe the image from your mind. Wipe it right now. Don't picture him sitting on that bike and what his butt cheeks are doing. Don't do it.
No. All right. No, that's it. That's it. This is going off the rails. Okay. Listen, let me tell you something about Kira Davis real quick. This woman is sitting on the left coast right now. And let me tell you something for those who don't understand the time zones. It is freaking early where she is right now. She's bringing this kind of energy and this kind of comedy and humor. You won't find this anywhere else this early in the morning. If you want to start your day the American way, you watch the Wake Up America show so you can hear real patriots like Kira Davis telling you to be racist. Just kidding. We're kidding. Just tongue firmly in cheek here. No, seriously though, it's a serious conversation, and black fatigue is a real thing. It's a phenomenon. And the problem, of course, is that we're not really allowed to acknowledge it. It's like me kind of trying to say, lady, I think that your feminism has gone too far. I think this is a female-coded view. No. You're not allowed.
You know, but don't you think, Austin, I don't think I agree with you actually on this point, but I don't think it's black fatigue. Don't you think we're just fatigued? Because I'm seeing that word being used everywhere. I have feminism fatigue. I have Muslim fatigue. I have traffic fatigue. I have Democrat fatigue. Like the word, fatigue is the 2025 word, right?
Yes.
Last year it was gaslighting. This year it's fatigue.
This is the clip. It's the fatigue. Cut that clip, post it everywhere. That's fatigue. We're all fatigued. We're tired everywhere, mostly because our ass is the type, if you're watching this live, to get up early. It's 8:48 Central Time here, which means that it's 6:48 a.m. And that's all before 7 a.m. Kira Davis cooks. Kira Davis, she cooked you a whole breakfast. And I hope that you all appreciated it today. Kira, please tell us if there's anything we missed about this conversation today. Please fill us in. And then also, if you have anything to plug, please do so now.
I don't know. I think I've recently shuttered my old podcast, Just Listen to Yourself. And that was a podcast about critical thinking and persuasion. I really wanted to talk to the other side of the equation and give people a reason to dig into their own ideas. And I did that for 5 years. And I did a lot of I gave out a lot of invitations for people to come to the table and look at each other over that table and say to each other, I'm going to lay down my right to be offended just for this conversation. And I'm going to have it with you. And we're going to try to hash out what it means to be an American together. That's what that podcast was dedicated towards. But I'll tell you what, Austin, after November 2024, when I woke up the next day, and I heard people wishing death upon me and my family and wishing death upon anybody who didn't support Kamala Harris or who did support Donald Trump, I realized that there is no convincing this side of the other side of the equation. There is something deeply wrong over there. I no longer am interested in persuasion. And if you want to know where I got radicalized, it was the day someone shot my friend in the neck. So I'm with you,
Kira. I'm with you 100%.
I don't have the tolerance for it anymore.
We need that Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers clip where they're doing the handshake and their muscles and their biceps are all popping out right now. I got that kind of energy with you right now, Kira. I'm with you. They killed the nice guy. And so now you get the tough, mean guy instead.
You should have let the nice guy live.
Dude, Kira, I don't know. I know you're conservative, whatever. I'm launching a new movement this weekend. It's called the Libertarian Nationalist Movement. If that sounds scary to you, please tell me what you like about it, what you dislike about it. I wrote a manifesto. I'd love for you to read it. I'd love to have you on the show again, but I won't be too selfish with your time because it's stinking early out there and you've already been extremely generous. So I'm telling all my followers right now that I may be a libertarian, but you are a mandatory follow on X and turn on notifications and turn on notifications.
Thank you.
Kira, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
we appreciate
Austin.
you.
Thanks, everybody. I'll be back.
Yeah, you're fantastic. She'll be back. Absolutely. No question.
Yes, it's him. He got me out. He got the hostages out. Before we felt like nothing is happening, you know. And I remember ever since he came into the road, they were very scared of him. Yeah, they wanted
Who?
The terrorists.
We're afraid of Trump.
Yeah, they wanted Kamala to be chosen, to be elected.
You talked politics with them?
Yeah. They wanted Kamala to be elected. But as soon as Donald Trump was elected, they understood that he wants to bring the hostages back home. Yeah. So immediately the way they treated me changed. So if it's the amount of food, I could say this, that when Trump became president, yeah, the way they treated us changed. For me personally, this is what I
think
felt.
because they anticipated that a deal would come soon.
Yeah.
And that's when they started giving you more food.
Exactly. More food, treated me better, you know, stopped cursing me, stopped spitting on me.
That is the power of a strong president. Can you believe you just watched that? If anybody ever tries to give you for voting for Donald Trump, I will send you the link to that video. Send me a text. You see that phone number at the bottom of the screen? Show them the video of that hostage and how he was treated after Donald Trump was elected president of the United States. It was a totally different deal. Hamas wanted Kamala Harris to win. Can you believe people this kind of stuff just blows people's minds. They don't understand how one thing can lead to another. If Donald Trump was not president of the United States, you know what? That war would still be going on. That war would still be, they'd still be fighting. Now, it's not to say that they're not going to shoot again, start shooting again. But those hostages, at least the 23 or so that mattered, were returned. Now they're talking. And he said that as soon as Donald Trump got elected president, Hamas started treating those hostages better. That's why it's so important to do the right thing. I made America great again, baby. I got what I voted for. I need my Got What I Voted For award. Where is it? Here it is. My Got What I Voted For award. The flag is back, baby. Got What I Voted For award. And if you weren't having like a libertarian boner enough, then how about the fact that we just heard that Roger Ver, put in jail over cryptocurrency, was just released by the Trump administration. Another libertarian win. And still so many hate him. Call him a fascist. Worst fascist ever. You talk about Hitler was right. We mean Donald Trump? Why? Because he got peace in the Middle East? Hitler got, literally Hitler. People are so stupid. It's just such torture to be a normal, rightful, rational thinking person in the United States. You know what I mean? It's torture. Surrounded by idiots. For those of us who are awake, not woke left, not woke right, stuck in the middle with you. Commies to my left, Nazis to my right. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. I'm glad you guys enjoyed Kara Davis. I'll bring her back on, okay? Don't let me forget. I got a long list of great guests, and Kara Davis is certainly one of them. She was fiery. She was in California, for God's sake, and she was that early in the morning. That's why I wanted to play it again for you guys. Angela McArdle worked to get him freed. Very exciting. Yes, I know. Angela McArdle. They drive. The Libertarian Party kills the ones who are helping. Yeah, they put Libertarian Party drives out the people who are actually trying to accomplish real things for liberty. Speaking of, I'll be speaking at the Libertarian Party of Colorado convention this weekend in Colorado. And oh, Austin, you're just a walking ball of contradictions these days. Oh, yes, I'm conflicted because as I grow older, I grow wiser and I realize that certain things are realities and that there are certain things that you can change and that you can't. And as I read my Marcus Aurelius and I'm feeling stoic in my meditations, I say, I cannot change what I cannot change, and thus I shall not worry, and thus I shall not even complain. Oh, God, what would I do if I didn't have complain? If I didn't complain, what would I do for a living? A bitch 2 hours in the morning from 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. It's the Wake Up America show. Yeah, Roger Ver Freed. Wow, somebody wants to unlock phase 1 of the bonus content today. Looks like we just got it done. Thanks to Andy. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you. Reasons to live. Now, I don't know if Brad Beckman's watching the numbers there. He should be this morning, but if we do hit $100, that's the phase 1 of the bonus content, but phase 2 is back, baby. We've got phase 2 bonus content for you all, and it is a game show mode that unlocks. You can play on your phones at home in real time with us and win real prizes. It's the Great Grift Off, we're calling it. The Great Grift Off. Liberty Loot Live. So today's prize, if you win the game of Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader, then today's game will unlock at $200 raised. We're at $91 raised so far. Thank you, Andy. And thank you to everyone who's gifted. But just an FYI, if you want to get a prize entry, you have to buy a ticket. And the ticket is just making a Rumble Rant donation of any amount. Could be $1, could be $10. Or if you make a purchase at the Grift Shop this morning, then you guys can also get an entry that way. How do I get my entry code? You text that phone number at the bottom of the screen after you've made your contribution. You will get an entry for a code that you'll be able to log into on your phone to at the end of this game, or the end of this show, to unlock the game show mode. So there's a game show mode now built into the Wake Up America show. And the price is high, $200 by the end of the show, but the prizes are also fantastic. So you've got free boxes of Founding Flavors coffee if you win. Well, $1 Rumble Rant, right? It's like buying a ticket, and you get to play a game, and we're all playing against each other if you're playing. So everybody has a chance to win who made a contribution to the show this morning, and everybody's a winner. It's basically just like we're going to just start like going with gift cards and prizes. So hope that we unlock it. Keep the Rumble Rants coming. Every Rumble Rant is an entry and purchase in the shopper entries. How do I get my entry code? Make sure you text the show after you give your text that number after you give your donation or make your purchase. So make sure you get your code. I'm glad Jennifer Howbine enjoys my show, even though I know she disagrees with me on quite a few of these things. And I appreciate that, because I think one of the biggest challenges that libertarians face is not even really an ideological challenge so much as it is an interpersonal challenge. And the interpersonal challenge that libertarians are facing are to sort of contend with ideas outside of our bubbles in order to sharpen our razors so that we can make better, stronger arguments for our libertarian limited government ideals. We're going to have Patrick Casey join us live. I don't know what happened to all the clocks, but for some reason, maybe this happened to you guys too. It might have something to do with the Windows 10 drop or something. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I'm on Windows 11, but it just seems like my phones, my laptops, I got a couple of computers in here, and like all of the clocks which are all coming from the internet, which should be coming from the same place, they're all different times. So I show 824 over here, 827 over here, 820 something else over here. It's just kind of annoying. Is anybody else having this glitch, or is this just me? Am I an idiot? Am I doing something wrong here? If you want to play the game, you've got to get a prize entry by making a Rumble Rant donation or a purchase from the shop, and you got to text "Let's play." Just text the text line and say, "I'm in, I'm game, I made a donation," and our buddy Brad Beckman will get you your entry code so that you guys can play. Are you smarter than a fifth grader at the end of the show today? Be glad to have you be a regular guest in the show. Make sure you're clicking the like button as well and supporting us. We're going to have Patrick Casey joining us live in less than 5. I need to go get him right now. Come enjoy the bonus content. Did we hit it? No, we're only at 91. We only need $9 more raised to unlock the mini documentary, guys. Let's do it. Somebody give $9 or just drop a 10. Why not? Add a little tip on the end of the tip. Tip me on your tipping. Drop a $10 in the jar, and I will play the mini documentary for you guys before we have Patrick Casey here to talk about Trump's triumphs. It's a great day to be an American. We'll be right back on the Wake Up America Show's For Liberty Network.
Legend has it, back in 1773, a band of angry, overtaxed patriots stormed a British ship, found the king's favorite tea, and said, "This would taste better without the tyranny." Then they tossed it overboard. Fast forward to today. That revolutionary spirit lives on in Boston Harbor Black, the boldest brew in the For Liberty tea lineup. It's dark, it's smooth, it's unapologetically American, just like the folks who drink it. Whether you're sweetening it up on the front porch or drinking it straight like a Minuteman before battle, this isn't tea for royalty, it's tea for rebels. No fake flavors, no corporate slogans, just a cold glass of Don't Tread on Me in liquid form. So skip the woke iced tea aisle and stock up on Boston Harbor Black at forlibertyshop.com. Because when the heat's rising, the least you can do is drink like a patriot. Picture this. It's 1776. Thomas Jefferson is hunched over his desk at Monticello, ink-stained fingers, writing the most radical document in human history. Do you really think he was sipping Starbucks? No. He was drinking something bold, something black, something brewed strong enough to fuel a revolution. That's the spirit behind Founding Flavors, our signature line of liberty-fueled coffee. No soy froth, no climate guilt, no corporate slogans. Just real coffee, inspired by the men who wrote freedom into existence. Every cup is a quiet protest. Against mediocrity, against tyranny, against bad coffee. So this morning, skip the globalist brew. Grab something worthy of a free man's sunrise. Founding Flavors. Now brewing at forlibertyshop.com.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Petersen. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show, and we're on the For Liberty Network. Thanks so much for joining us live today. If you haven't already clicked the like button, there are hundreds of people. How many people can we get to click the like button? Let's do it. Click the like button. And if today's your first time watching the Wake Up America show and you've been enjoying this content, click the follow button as well. We'd love to have you be a regular guest. And this show is Mondays through Fridays, 7 to 9 a.m. Central Time. The Wake Up America show needs to be a part of your regular scheduled watching in the mornings. It's a great show. Let's talk to my next guest. His name is Patrick Casey. He's been defending Trump's handling of the recent Gaza conflict as measured, strategic, and America first, but that's in contrast to what he calls a hysterical, black-pilled narrative that's circulating on the right. He's joining us live for the very first time today. Very excited to talk to this gentleman, Patrick Casey. Good morning, Patrick, and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Petersen. It's good to be here. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, it's really refreshing to hear your takes. It's sort of, countervailing the pressure on the right to adopt more and more extreme rhetoric that at many times seems counter to what the Trump administration is trying to accomplish, that the online right, some of who claim to be the biggest supporters of Donald Trump, seem to be working very hard to undermine his messaging. What gives?
Sure. So I would definitely differentiate between people who are supportive of Trump but disagree with certain policies or rhetoric coming from the Trump administration. I'm not saying I would always agree with those people, but that's definitely a different... It's a little more reasonable. But you do have a lot of people who are anti-Trump and have been basically since the 2024 election on the grounds that Trump is a Zionist, right? As if somehow that were anything different than what Trump has always been. He's been pro-Israel, but anti-war in the sense of anti-U.S. intervention, boots on the ground, global war on terror, and so on and so forth. So what you've had is the rise of this sort of anti-Zionist right, one might say, and they've been very loud on social media. And regardless of how people feel about Israel, these people have been trying to turn other people against Trump on the grounds that he's going to get us into World War III. They're telling us that deportations just are not happening. All those videos, I guess we've been seeing, maybe they're AI or something. And they've also been saying that, Trump is complicit in some kind of genocide in Gaza. Well, Donald Trump just forced Israel to accept a far earlier peace deal than Israel wanted. If you look at a lot of pro-Israel people in the American right and you look at the Israeli right, I think they can sort of accept that the war has come to an end. It's not the end of the world. They're getting the hostages back, and
I see a lot of
Hamas
them cheering. I see a lot are celebrating.
Yeah, there's a lot of celebrating. I think if the Israeli right, got its way like 100%, I think they would have kept going for a little longer. And so the point that I'm trying to make here is this narrative that Donald Trump is just some hapless slave to Benjamin Netanyahu is not only factually incorrect, but it's a really insidious narrative to be promoting about, as far as I'm concerned, the best president we've had in a very long time. And so that's why I push back against that stuff. I'm not really coming at it from a hardcore pro-Israel angle. But part of, my position is that people don't need to feel super strongly on Israel one way or the other.
Well, you call yourself a moderate paleoconservative, but from what I understand of the paleoconservatives, my experience with paleoconservatives, of which I know many and have been in, part of this movement for a very, very long time, Patrick, is that it is very clearly anti-Israel, and some of them, well, they don't like the ethnicity of the people who live in Israel either. So, I mean, there is that element to it.
Sure. So the paleocons, obviously, you could find across anyone who ever identified as them, especially the bigger paleocons like Joe Sobran, Paul Gottfried, Pat Buchanan. You certainly find a spectrum of views on the state of Israel,
on the Jewish question.
People. Yeah, definitely. So some definitely veer off. I'm not going to name names. Some definitely veer off more into territory that could be non-hysterically considered anti-Semitic. I'm really big on Paul
appear in a
Gottfried,
Republican group chat even, perhaps.
Right. Yeah. But I would say I'm really into Paul Gottfried. He's kind of an intellectual mentor of mine. He's published me many times in Chronicles magazine. He has a very interesting position. So he's pro-Israel existing, which I think is kind of going with the grain. I mean, if your politics depend on Israel no longer existing, that's kind of a radical thing, and it's not necessary at all as far as I'm concerned. But Gottfried is very critical of U.S.-Israel policy, but he thinks Israel has a right to exist, just about any other country, and that's basically where I'm coming from. I'm not going to agree with every, demand or desire that whatever Israeli administration that happens to be in power at a particular point in time has or wants, but that also doesn't mean that any disagreements there mean that I think Israel needs to lose, otherwise America can't win. It just doesn't work out that way, and in fact, I think it's actually the opposite. I think these people that don't want to support Trump, despite all of the good things that he's doing. Some of these people wanted Trump to lose very explicitly in the 2024 election. I think these people actually care more about Israel losing than they care about America winning. I'm fine with, America winning and Israel winning because I care about America winning. And that's by far the biggest concern that I have. But for some people, they would rather see Israel lose. And, Trump's doing all this great work on DEI, on immigration, on pushing, mass firing government workers. So I guess some of these people just don't want any of that to happen just because he happens to be pro-Israel as well. It's very ridiculous. And it deserves to be called out.
Is there an Israel derangement syndrome, Patrick? Because I think that there is. It's kind of like how people are with Trump. They're either insane for Trump or insane against Trump, and there's kind of nothing in between. I feel that way with Israel. It's like I'm kind of looking forward to not talking about Israel and Gaza and Palestine for a while. Yeah. I know that some people are really disappointed that that's going to go away, but I'm not. I'd like to talk about what's happening here in the United States. Right. I kind of guess I sort of identify with your boss or your publisher there to some extent. You can be critical of Israel and say that we shouldn't be giving them our foreign aid and they can take care of themselves, and I can agree with that. But that doesn't mean that, I'm going to get on board with Salafist or Ba'athist, or I'm not going to join. There's a weird sort of horseshoe effect kind of happening right now. Patrick, I mean, haven't you been accused of taking the $7,000 Israeli bucks because of some of the things that you've been saying? Are you a puppet of Netanyahu, Patrick?
Yeah, it's funny because I don't get into the weeds with there are a lot of things that people say about Israel. Oh, the IDF, killed all of these people. And I follow pro-Israel accounts, and they spend a lot of time saying, no, like this is like a made-up like massacre. It didn't happen. I'm not involved in that level. I'm basically telling people that Donald Trump is the best president we've had in, again, living memory. I don't know how far you have to go back very far to find another president who's done as much for our country as Trump has. And my whole thing is that like people are lying about the realities of the Middle East in order to convince you that you shouldn't support Trump. Like if Trump were actually about to get us involved in World War III, okay, then I would have to reconsider my support for him because I don't want to be involved in World War III, right? Were he actually a neocon warmonger who was just going to literally allow Israel to carry out an endless, infinite war in the Middle East, then I would have to maybe reconsider my support for Trump.
Kind of that just isn't the case. But that's kind of the point is because they're accusing Trump of being the neocon warmonger because of, for example, of the strike on Israel, or excuse me, because of the strike on Iran, and that strike was supposed to be the World War III, and it was the sign that he was controlled by Netanyahu, and it was the sign that he was going to get us further embroiled and entangled into Middle East conflicts. So the strike on Iran, Dave Smith called for him to be impeached over that. It seemed, exactly. I'm laughing too.
Ridiculous.
It really seems to show a lack of kind of long-term thinking amongst some people.
Yeah. So you have, there definitely, I didn't really answer your question earlier, but there is an Israel derangement syndrome and more broadly a Jew derangement syndrome. Look, again, I've got disagreements with Jewish liberal organizations. If I see a conservative Jewish organization that's saying something I disagree with, I'm gonna be critical. But the people that just like, that's all they want to talk about. And there's a tendency I've noticed among these people that, they call themselves noticers. Their whole thing is like pointing out someone's Jewish, early life checking them, and so to speak. But these people call me Jewish as well. So that makes me actually believe that, by becoming an epic Jew noticer, people lose the ability to actually notice who is and isn't Jewish. There were viral tweets accusing J.D. Vance of being Jewish. I mean, that guy's about as goy as it gets, right? Like it's absurd that these are the arguments that we have to deal with here. Trump isn't a neocon. I don't think most of these people really know what the term neocon means. If you look back at the neocons, I mean, Bill Kristol and a lot of these people they switched parties, right? Neoconservatism, I mean, especially the post Cold War era of neoconservatism, it was about a global liberal empire. The idea that it was only about Israel just isn't the case. And even though Trump is super pro-Israel, okay, that didn't work for Bill Kristol. So there's actually a lot more to being a neoconservative. But most of the people throwing this term around don't actually care what it means. It's just a code for, Jew or pro-Israel person. You can just say Jew or Zionist to get your point across. Doesn't mean I'm going to agree with that point. But people try using words they don't understand. And again, it just makes the discourse dumber.
Yeah, you were sort of implying the other day, though, that there might be, and maybe I'm incorrect, please don't let me put words in your mouth, but you seem to be implying that there were perhaps some foreign actors, and please God, I hope that Twitter actually gives us the nation of origin from tweets, because I think the Groyper movement probably falls apart because of that. But I think that, but I'd like to know, I think we deserve to know, where people are coming from. But don't you think that a lot of this may have been from, perhaps Israel's enemies trying to make the based white Christian nationalists in the United States hate Israel and to stoke that discord? Because, do you believe there's any grain of truth perhaps to like Qatar spending money in the United States on American influencers or maybe mounting these kinds of bot campaigns to support, Groyper or anti-Jew narratives in the United States? Do you think there's maybe a grain of truth to that, or just fake and gay?
No, it's probably true. But just like the Israel critical people who accuse anyone who, it's not even, again, I'm not even saying like radically pro-Israel things. It's, I'm saying like, yeah, you can support Trump. No, he's not going to get us involved in World War III, over Gaza or something. And they're saying, oh, you got paid $7,000 for that post. I mean, yeah, if only, but, getting paid to support the president. That doesn't work that way. But, just as there probably are people getting paid money to say pro-Israel things, they're probably like, I would imagine like the big pro-Israel accounts with like AI avatars or something.
What a plague.
So it's there's probably like a little truth to that, but it's not like everyone's getting paid $7K anytime they say something positive about Israel. It's probably the same on the other side of things. But I do know for a fact that Qatar is paying for social media stuff. I don't want to go into detail, but there are people who have received money from them and, spoken, drank a little too much and admitted to it.
Yeah.
There are people that have been.
Do you think that Tucker's
approached.
associations with those types are sus or no?
Which associations?
Well, like for example, the gentleman from Qatar who made the first initial investment in Tucker's network, TCN. There have been a lot of investments, cryptocurrency investments that have been made with some of these people, business deals. How do you feel about bringing Qatar, the airbase facility, into the United States as part of this deal?
I guess their pilots are going to be able to train on some of our planes at an airbase.
It's kind of a give for peace, I guess.
Yeah, so I'm not as anti-Qatar as again, like the really diehard pro-Israel people. And I have plenty of friends in that category. So stuff like that, I'm not as concerned by. There's definitely weird stuff going on with. Qatar is the biggest foreign funder of our universities. If you've taken a look at what our universities look like these days, that should be cause for concern. So there's definitely concern about what they're up to and funding influencer operations. But again, I do think that some people tend to over-exaggerate the extent to which stuff is a problem.
Yeah, it's the $7,000 you get paid to say, by Qatar to make the $7,000 allegations against you. Who knows?
Right,
Maybe
right.
It is a big conspiracy.
It's actually I saw. I'm not going to name names, but I saw someone who was doing the $7,000 meme, and that was someone that through the grapevine, from a trusted source, I heard had admitted to having taken money from Qatar. So the thing is, there's even if you put that to the side, you have a lot of influencers who are intentionally catering to a third world audience, or you could just say a global audience. But the third world, there are a lot of people there. So it's like, if you look at, someone was telling me that Candace Owens' audience demographic or analytics show that she's huge in countries like you would never expect, majority Muslim countries, Asian countries, and whatever else.
Yes.
So we actually are in, I think, an unprecedented era where American political discourse is being shaped by people with large platforms who are catering to third world audiences. So they're saying things that play well with the global South, but they're not admitting that that's what they're doing, and they're polluting American political discourse by catering to the third world. And I think that's something that really needs to be drawn attention to. Every day that goes by, hundreds of thousands or maybe millions of people in the third world get internet access. And that's just the future of the internet, I think, is going to be one. I don't care if someone replies to me and they say, you're stupid, you Zionist or whatever, and they get 10,000 likes, but, half of those or most of those are from people in the third world. Those are negligible as far as I'm concerned. That doesn't reflect how Americans feel. That doesn't reflect how, white American Christians under 40 feel. So those people, it's not like their lives don't matter, but it's like their opinions kind of don't matter as far as I'm concerned for American politics. But that's just part of the wonderful new media environment we find ourselves in on the internet and so forth. But it's something that people need to keep in mind.
Patrick, you've had such fantastic analysis in the last several weeks, especially. I had to get you on the show. We've been trying to get you on the show. We're really busy guys, and I'm just really grateful that you're being so generous with us this morning. I definitely want to give you a chance to make any plugs that you want to make, but I wish I could pick your brain for another hour or 2 hours. So I hope you will come back again soon.
Sure.
Patrick, where are we at right now? It feels like we're actually at a high. Talk about the black pillars. This Politico controversy comes out with all these news stories. There's still a lot of information that's a lot of poofling that's happening, and we don't exactly know what's going on with this story. But do you think it's a distraction one, or in the context of all of the Jew stuff that's already happening right now, is it more toxicity? What do you sort of see of where we're at? It feels like Trump is sort of soaring above it all and doing amazing, but the party's just black-pilled and doom scrolling and caught in these debates and discussions that they've got their eye off the ball, even if Trump does. What do you think about where we're at?
I think we're in a pretty good spot. I think the people that are anti-Trump black-pilling online, I don't think that represents a sizable at all portion of the electorate of the Republican base. So I'm not terribly concerned about that. You know, it is important to push back against bad ideas and bad people, but I think Trump is doing very well. I'm thinking about 2028. I'm thinking about, you know, the potential for Vance to take the to take the torch and kind of keep the Trump movement going as much as anyone who isn't Trump is capable of doing. And I don't want to say I'm worried, but I'm trying to think, what are the conditions under which Vance couldn't get the primary, or couldn't get the nomination, couldn't win. I do see some people attacking Vance in the pro-Israel crowd for being too friendly with Tucker and saying, well, he's going to need to disavow Tucker if I'm supporting him in 2028. So, and also some of the anti-Israel people, like the Groypers, are very anti-Vance. So I'm kind of, I think Vance is great. So I'm conceiving of a scenario in which in 2028, you have people who are attacking Vance from both sides. You're not pro-Israel enough. You're too pro-Israel, whatever. And that's just kind of, again, tedious for someone who has pretty moderate views on Israel. The idea that someone, that the next president, like if you've got a guy who's solid all across the board on domestic issues, I would also say on foreign policy, the idea that he should be disqualified from that because he's either too for or too against a foreign country, to me is just kind of ridiculous. It's not everyone in the pro-Israel crowd who feels this way, just to be very clear. But I don't know. Anything can happen before 2028. The public could decide that they've had enough of these deportations. That's something I'm a little concerned about. When you had people streaming across the border, the mass deportations were very popular. Now that people are seeing what mass deportations look like, there's polling data that suggests, a lot of fickle Americans no longer are as supportive. So it's just one of the many joys of democracy. But I think we have a good successor in Vance, and I'm hoping that he's able to win in 2028. And I'm hoping the Democrats don't get back in power because that wouldn't be very pretty.
All right, now you're blackpilling. Okay, so let's just, Patrick, I turned on notifications onto your X account. In the last few weeks when everybody's hair was on fire, I would go and check out what you were saying about something, and it was really level-headed, really solid commentary. So I highly recommend everybody follows you over on X. But is there anything else that you're working on that you'd like to share? Website, whatever you'd like, go ahead and plug now.
Yeah, thank you, Austin. So people can go to patrickcasey.com. That's where I do my podcast. I occasionally write articles there. Usually I publish in, someone else's publication, essentially. But yeah, at Restore Order USA on Twitter and patrickcasey.com.
There we go, patrickcasey.com. Patrick, great stuff, man. Thanks for getting up early and for making some time with our audience today. It looks like they really appreciate it in the comments.
I enjoyed it, Austin. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day. That's Patrick Casey. Let's give him a round of applause. And again, follow him on X. Turn on those notifications. If you want some thoughtful commentary, it's really hard to find people who out there who aren't insane. And Patrick Casey seems to have a really good head on his shoulders. So let's have him back. What do you think? Want to do it? Do it. All right. Now, listen, I knew that the chances of us actually unlocking the second phase of the bonus content was really dubious, right? It's $200, but it is a game show mode. So I figured that it might even take a few days of the Wake Up America show of me sort of explaining the concept of how to unlock the game show mode here on the stream would work. So I'm not worried at all that we didn't unlock the game show mode on the Wake Up America show today at all. So don't worry about it. It looks like we did unlock phase 1. Okay, so we do have the bonus content phase 1 that's been unlocked. I believe so. I can't read that pin post. So here's how it works, just so you know, for tomorrow's game. We will be offering the game show mode every day, a chance for you to win real prizes from the Grift Shop. And the game mode is called The Great Grift Off, which is fun and funny. So we won't get to play today because we didn't unlock it. But in the future, if we manage to get either in purchases or in Rumble Rants, if we manage to hit the $200 mark, then this game at the end of the show, or this show at the end of this show, there will be a game show mode. If I can't even speak it, how could you possibly understand? I know it sounds complicated, but basically we all just play party games together. And the winner of that party game, which today we would have played Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? The winner of that would win a box of Founding Flavors coffee from the shop. So We didn't do it, so that means that the game mode won't unlock today. But maybe we'll try again tomorrow, and maybe we'll hit phase 2. I'll go ahead and gimme. Somebody says we're like just really close to phase 1. I'll go ahead and give you guys to that. Give you a gimme for that. But just so you know, in the future, party games, real prizes, and a game show mode, the Great Grift Off, Liberty Loot Live, it unlocks at a $200 bonus content level. And everybody who donated gets an entry, and everybody who donated wins some prize from the game, even if you don't win the grand prize. So lots of prizes, lots of fun. It's a Wake Up America show. We're having great conversations, silly shirts, serious news. I'm Austin Petersen. Thank you for tuning in live. Exit through the Grift Shop at thegriftshop.com. We'll see you right back again here tomorrow. It's the Wake Up America show, and that's on the 4 Liberty Network.
Enter your home without a warrant? The Supreme Court will soon decide. Even well-intentioned community caretaking can't justify ignoring the Fourth Amendment. Swatting, a dangerous trend in which pranksters fabricate emergency reports to get SWAT teams or other law enforcement to descend on a victim's home, has had deadly consequences. In 2020, a Tennessee man swatted for refusing to sell his Twitter handle died of a heart attack when heavily armed officers arrived at his house. In 2017, a Kansas man answering police on his front porch was fatally shot after a false report of a hostage situation. Even celebrities aren't immune. Twice this year, Gordon Ramsay's Los Angeles home was swatted, most recently by a caller claiming he had shot 2 men. Fortunately, Ramsay was out of the country at the time. Tragedies like these highlight a critical question. Should a simple call to emergency services be enough to justify sending heavily armed officers into someone's home? Or should stricter safeguards be required? The U.S. Supreme Court will weigh in on that issue when it hears Case v. Montana on October 15th. Case centers on a Montana Supreme Court ruling allowing police to enter a home without a warrant under a community caretaking exception to the Fourth Amendment. In 2021, officers had responded to a call from William Case's ex-girlfriend, who claimed he was suicidal and ready to shoot it out with police. But the officers knew Case from prior interactions, and their observations at his home suggested he was unlikely to be in immediate danger. Still, about 40 minutes after arriving, they forcibly entered his home, confronted him, and shot him. Evidence gathered during that entry was later used to convict Case of felony assault on a police officer. The Montana court considered whether evidence collected during the warrantless entry was admissible, ultimately ruling that it was. Case contends that, absent consent, government agents may enter the home, warrant or no warrant regardless of purpose, only when they have particularized probable cause, facts known firsthand by the officer justifying the intrusion. This approach aligns with Supreme Court precedent. The court recently rejected a freestanding community caretaking exception and, in a 2006 decision, held that officers could enter a home without a warrant only when they have an objectively reasonable basis for believing that an occupant is seriously injured or imminently threatened with such injury. Historically, the court has consistently treated an individual's home with special protection. As it wrote in 1972, physical entry of the home is the chief evil against which the wording of the Fourth Amendment is directed. The court's special protection of the home is rooted in the common law. In his petitioner's brief, Case notes that under common law, a constable could enter a home without a warrant only if there is an affray, a dispute or fight. And even then, only when the affray is made in a house in the view or hearing of a constable, and only to suppress the affray. Additionally, the constable must consider the affray to be serious enough to terrify or bring fear. Case's proposed rule also aligns with the Supreme Court's renewed emphasis on property rights as the foundation of Fourth Amendment protections. For decades, the court focused on reasonable expectations of privacy. More recently, however, it has recognized that such expectations are objectively legitimate when they arise from the exercise of property or contract rights. This framework clarifies why the home has always enjoyed heightened Fourth Amendment protection. A home is the place where an individual is most likely to have exercised rights to property or contract, creating a state of privacy to share with loved ones and guests. Some might think a benevolent reason for entry, such as community caretaking as opposed to criminal investigation, should permit courts to apply a lower standard of cause. But government is force. As Ayn Rand warned, the state's monopoly on legal violence makes it potentially more dangerous than any criminal. The further the government strays from its proper role of protecting rights, the more its power should be constrained. Caretaking is not the same as rights protection, so the standard for intrusion should be even stricter. Perhaps this is why those in the founding era recognized that, even when caretaking in the form of suppressing an affray could help preserve human life, officers still needed particularized probable cause to forcibly enter a home. Our homes are the product of a deliberate exercise of our property and contract rights, a secluded space where we expect to rest, immerse ourselves in our values, and share life with others in private. In keeping with its tradition of granting heightened Fourth Amendment protection to the home, the Supreme Court should rule in favor of case and require particularized probable cause for warrantless entry,